How to learn English as a non-native speaker?
So I think to learn any language, just
Many of the students have problem on pronunciation. Even I have that problem because I have that MTI, mother tongue influence. Like how to correct my pronunciation, how to learn the exact pronunciation, what is the way, what is the process you follow, or you should tell to the people to follow that. So
so I recommend two things. One, I have a funny story. One of my students, she was defending her dissertation and she had to remember to use her strategy. So she put my picture on her notes so that she could look at me to remember to use her strategy. So
I see a lot of comments like uh, some people are getting uh, fear of speaking English because they think that other people would mock them. So how to tackle this kind of thing, because it is a very practical way, na?
yeah, I hear that a lot from my students. And what I find in the US, and most of my students agree with this, is
And by the way, so are we the twinning? Like we have worn the same dress without knowing each other. So how is it possible?
yeah, well, I think that's the beauty of the internet and YouTube, right? It's that it brings everyone together and it gives everyone this.
Hello, icons. Today we have super fun, very energetic Miss Jennifer from Tarle Speech English Pronunciation YouTube channel. So thank you, ma'am, for joining us. We are really glad to have you on my YouTube channel.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm glad to be here. And since I teach pronunciation, let's talk about my name. It seems like it should be pronounced Tarle, but it's actually Tarl, with just an L at the end, no E. So no big deal. I just wanted to let everybody know that it's pronounced differently than it's spelled, which that's such an English thing. So
Okay, I'm sorry for that.
no, don't be sorry at all. Not a big deal. I take no offense.
And so, could you please introduce yourself a little bit to my audience so that they can know?
Yeah. Hi. So again, my name is Jennifer Tarle, and I am the owner of Tarle Speech and Language. So I do a little bit of everything. I work with kids on their pronunciation and their ability to communicate. And I also work with adults on being more effective communicators. So while I do teach English, my main area that I focus on is clear communication through pronunciation.
Great, great, ma'am. And thank you for your sweet introduction. And yeah, so when did you start your YouTube channel? So could you please share your little bit journey that how is it so far?
I started a long time ago on YouTube. I don't even remember the exact year. I'm going to have to look it up for you. It's been a long time. I think since 2007. So how long ago is that? Probably longer than some of you are alive. So I've been on YouTube since then. I started out way back when you couldn't even make videos on your phone. So I actually hired someone to make a few videos for me that I was sharing in a newsletter. And I was posting them to a podcast at the time as well, and really just trying to do some things. One of my web designers told me about this thing called YouTube. And
Yeah,
so I looked at it. I thought, I don't know, do I want to give my stuff away for free? And here I am, all of these years later, thousands of lessons later, and I'm still on YouTube. And I just love it. I love the fact that I can help people for free because I know not everyone can afford classes. So I love that this is just my little way to help the world.
wow, I love that because when you started your YouTube journey, I didn't know what is YouTube, what was.
Yeah, I didn't know what it was. So I've been on there a long, long time. It's taken me a while to get to where I am. I'm sorry. I was telling you before, it's garbage day in my neighborhood, and my dog is barking at the recycling
Okay.
person. So I'm so sorry.
No, no, it's totally fine, ma'am.
Okay.
And so yeah, it's been long time that you have been in the way to teach English.
Mhm.
So I just ask you that what kind of problems you face, like while teaching to the student.
I think the biggest challenge that I face is just trying to keep things interesting and giving students what they want. And so I find that people learn best in the way that they want to learn. And those ways of learning, even though they're very similar in learning as learning, people want it served to them in different ways. And I find that to be the biggest challenge. And so recently I started doing some shorts on my channel and also posting those to Instagram and TikTok. And I think that's really, I've been able to reach more people because there is a group of
Yeah,
people now
different.
that wants to
Def-
learn in shorter chunks.
yeah, yeah, true, true. Definitely. As much as we can reach the people, they can understand, they can learn something new.
Hmm.
Very good, very good. And ma'am, yeah, what kind of problems you find while a student learn English?
From my standpoint, again, because I work more on speaking clarity, I find that the biggest issue that my students have is confidence because the students who tend to come to me aren't being understood. And I work most of the time with people with a very advanced level of English. And they come to me because they know exactly what everyone is saying. Their English is great. It's just people can't understand them. And that's where I come in and I help people and I work on general pronunciation strategies, giving presentations at work, and sometimes, like in my videos, just working on certain sounds. If you come from a different language and you don't have certain sounds that we do in English, it makes it very difficult for a person to understand you. And I don't think people are necessarily being rude. It's just sometimes it's really difficult when you don't have the background from the person who's speaking that maybe we're not understanding. So I mostly see challenges in terms of that clear and effective communication in terms of the pronunciation. Again, the grammar's fine, the vocabulary's fine. It's just coming back to that clear pronunciation.
Okay, okay. And ma'am, yeah, first basic question just I want to ask you, like how to learn English as a non-native speaker.
So I think to learn any language, just exposure really is key and more of an immersion approach and just a little bit every single day. I personally love Duolingo. I think it's great to remember to practice a little bit every day. I use it myself. And I also think watching YouTube videos, watching movies, listening to music, reading books, whatever it is, just doing a little tiny bit every single day. And I also think it's just being willing to sort of take that leap and put yourself out there. It's very scary. I
Mm.
totally get it. It's scary to try to speak, even though in your head you know what you want to say. You get a little nervous. So it's trying that a little bit. I always tell my students, practice this when it's a very low stress situation. If you're at the grocery store and you have to talk to the lady who's, checking you out at the grocery store, practice then because it's very easy. It's very light conversation. So pick out those times that aren't super stressful to practice your English and just immerse yourself every day in the new language.
Many of the students have problem on pronunciation. Even I have that problem because I have that MTI, mother tongue influence. So
Mm-hmm.
how to overcome, or how to correct my pronunciation, how to learn the exact pronunciation, what is the way, what is the process you follow, or you should tell to the people to follow that. So
So I recommend two things. One are strategies, and then the second one is practice. So let's talk about strategies first. So for strategies, I tell my students to remember 5 things, and I call it slope. You need to speak slowly enough. So many of my students are afraid to speak slowly enough because they're afraid that people will think they don't know what they're saying. And that is not the case. I actually think most native English speakers need to speak a little slower as well to be better understood. The next one is, are you speaking loudly enough? So S is slowly enough, L is loudly enough. This one sounds so simple, but so many people fail to do this. And I think sometimes when we're trying to speak in a new language, again, you get a little nervous and you start to speak a little softer and people can't really hear you. And so I always tell my students, try to hit the speaker with your voice. And in English, we tend to speak from down here with a little more breath support. So that's another really good one, to speak a little bit louder. So speak from down here, try to hit the person with your voice. Don't be afraid to open and move your mouth more. We have lots of different vowels in English, so we move our mouth more. So just by thinking about moving your mouth more and opening and moving your mouth, that's going to help a lot. If you watch TV and it's dubbed in a different language, you can tell that that person is not speaking English, not because the words aren't matching, but a lot of times it's because their mouth doesn't move as much. And in English, our mouths open and move a lot, mostly because of the vowel sounds. So that's slow enough, loud enough, open and move your mouth, and then pause. In English, we speak in phrases. So think about stopping after a thought, pausing when you're describing something. I have a hot cup of coffee. I am going to drink it right now. Then I'm going to get another cup. I'm just adding pauses, and that makes it easier. It's like punctuation with my silence. And then last, it's elongate your words. Make your vowels longer, make your words a little bit longer. Again, that gets to those vowels in English. So we have so many different vowels, and some of the vowels need to be longer. So again, it's slope, slow enough, loud enough, open and move your mouth, pause, and elongate your words. And that helps a ton. So those are the strategies. I know this is a long answer, so stop me if I'm talking too much. And then for the practice piece, it's really do some imitation practice every day. I always tell my students, go for it. Really imitate me. Say words the way you think I'm saying them. It feels very strange. My students say they feel like they're being disrespectful and they're making fun of me. You are not. It's just, if you hear these little things that I'm doing and you try to do it and you try to exaggerate it, you're probably going to be correct. So it's imitate what other people are doing. I love the website Breaking News English. I use it almost every day with my students. Again, it's Breaking News English. You can go on there and there's a paragraph for a current event, and you can read it and listen to it. And it's recorded in different speeds and in British and American English, whichever you choose. So you listen to the person reading it, then you read it out loud, and then you listen again. And that imitation practice really, really helps. And you can always pick out someone that you like the way that they speak and watch their videos and listen to their interviews and sort of imitate what they're doing. So again, it's a two-pronged approach. Use some strategies and then do some daily practice.
yes, and I think that my viewers, my icons can be benefited so much because you have showed the practical ways, practical demo.
Mm-hmm.
So that was superb.
Yeah, people are busy. They don't have a lot of time to practice. So I think little strategies are helpful, and that's why I try to keep my videos shorter as well. You can maybe learn something in 5 minutes instead of taking hours in a day to, you know, learn something every day.
Yeah, anyone can give 5 minutes to learn something new. Like,
Yeah.
so if you are interested to learn that, so you need to give efforts.
Right. So that's why I'm encouraging everyone who's watching to follow me on social media, follow you on social media, because you get that daily reminder to practice. I have a funny story. One of my students, she was defending her dissertation and she had to remember to use her strategy. So she put my picture on her notes so that she could look at me to remember to use her strategy. So everyone needs a little reminder.
That's really great.
Just make sure you follow someone on social media every day to give you that reminder just to practice, and that's really helpful.
Yeah, definitely. And also my icons, I will provide her all the links in the description. So go and just follow her and you can be benefited very, very much.
Oh, thank you. And same to you. Make sure everyone follows all of your links as well, which will be in the description below.
Yeah, definitely. And and ma'am, yeah, I see a lot of comments like some people are getting fear of speaking English because they think that other people would mock them. So how to tackle this kind of thing, because it is a very practical way, na?
Yeah, I hear that a lot from my students. And what I find in the US, and most of my students agree with this, is people are afraid to tell you that you are mispronouncing something or saying something wrong. Even if it's an embarrassing mistake, people don't want to tell you because they don't want to offend you. And so you have to give permission to people to tell you. So unless you say to me, Jennifer, tell me what I'm saying wrong, I'm not going to tell you if we're at a dinner party, because that's not why we're there. We're there to enjoy dinner.
Yeah, definitely. You have that dinner.
But you know, if you tell me, I will tell you later, oh, you mispronounced this word and no one can understand it, or I had trouble hearing you here, so you might want to try this. So I think you have to give people permission. And I do think that sometimes, and again, this is you know, me as well, I think sometimes when we're trying something new, we're a little extra sensitive. And so I think sometimes too, trying to work on, people might not be making fun of you, or they might not be upset. It's just maybe they're not understanding you and it's difficult. And so, you know, there could be other issues. Like for instance, you know, I have some family members that have a hard time hearing. And so it might be harder for them to understand someone who has more influenced English from their native language. So, you know, I think it's just, you know, tell people, you know, you can help me or give me some tips or something like that. And I think that's, you know, pretty helpful for people.
Okay. And by the way, so are we the twinning? Like have we have worn the same dress without knowing each other. So how is it possible?
Yeah, well, I think that's the beauty of the internet and YouTube, right? It's that it brings everyone together and it gives everyone this, we say, even playing field, and just a way to connect. I mean, I've just met the most amazing people from all over the world who've reached out to me. People are so kind and so helpful. Like you just reached out to me, and I'm happy to have an interview and to chit chat, and helps me learn about different cultures of different people. You know, and I just think it's amazing. I think the internet is the most amazing thing ever. It's just incredible. And it's, you know, my pleasure to just be able to help and to meet people. And it does seem impossible, but yet it happens every day. So it's incredible.
Yeah, definitely. And I'm just over the moon, right, to have you, really, ma'am.
Oh, you're so sweet. And I'm just, it's my pleasure to be here. And I'm so happy that we were able to do this today.
I am also so happy.
I appreciate it.
So happy.
And thank you for being so flexible. My schedule is a little crazy with the holidays in the US coming up, so I appreciate you meeting me so late your time so that I could be here early my time. So thank you.
It would be my pleasure to have you, to meet you, and you have shared a great journey and a great tip so that my viewers as well as the English learners can be benefited, can be like can learn something, the ways, the tactics they can follow, and they can easily catch whatever they want.
And
Thank
if
you
you
very
don't
much.
mind, can you tell my students a little bit about your channel and what you do and how you help students?
Yeah, definitely. I started my YouTube channel 2020 during lockdown, and I was so introvert. So my family members used to say that you should be extrovert, you should say something to certain level so that you can crack interviews and all. So I decided to start YouTube channel so that I could practice my spoken English as well as I could upload videos, and I also used to practice my English with foreigners on different platforms. So it would really help. It would really help me to like gain confidence to speak up with native speakers. So that's why that's how I started, and also yeah, it's been 2.5 years. I have been posting videos on YouTube, and it really gives me like pleasure, motivation, because some people can't afford that application. So
Mhm.
I upload those videos for them so that they can learn English. They can watch others people, other like me, that how I can speak English, how as I can speak English. So I motivate them that they can speak English. So that's why I started my YouTube channel, and my channel name is Iconic Indro. And I hope that many with your blessing I can reach more and more.
Okay, well, all the links are below, so I want everyone to go and check you out as well.
Definitely, thank you, ma'am.
Other than I'm now posting videos almost every day. Every once in a while, I miss a day, but I have a series on homophones, which are words that are spelled differently with different meanings but pronounced the same every Tuesday. I have a question of the week every Friday from viewers. Right now, I have a mini series on heteronyms, which are words that are spelled the same but
Very
pronounced
nice.
differently with different meanings. It's so confusing, but they're both great ways to learn vocabulary. And then every other day of the week, I do have shorts that I've been posting. And in the new year, I'm looking to expand my podcast on listening to native English speakers, because that's one of the things my students do tell me as well, which is
Wow.
I feel like my English is great until I speak to some people in English. It really depends on the person. And so I think by exposing yourself to different speakers, you can learn different variations in English and ways different people speak and different things that they say. So I'm going to be starting that soon. And just last night, I was able to, I don't know if you celebrate Christmas there.
Yeah.
Okay, I know a lot of people celebrate Christmas now, but I was able to interview Santa Claus for the podcast. So you have to check that out. So that was super exciting.
Wow, definitely, definitely.
I know, it was
Yeah,
totally last minute. He just called and said, "Hey, do you want to do an interview?" And I was like, absolutely. So it wasn't my best interview, but hey, I mean, you can't pass up an interview with Santa. So yeah, so everyone just check that out. And I just want to thank everyone in the world who's on my channel for their kindness and support. And it is really humbling how just kind and nice people are, and they just want to be helpful, just like you. And I really appreciate your time and your effort to do all of this. And thank you so much, and all the best to you and your family in the new year. Much prosperity,
yeah.
health, and many blessings in 2023.
You too as well, and hope the new year would be the best year for you.
Same to you. Here's to an awesome 2023. So Thank you, and all the best to you. Take care.
Okay, take care, stay safe. See you
You too.
soon.
Bye.